Hey everybody, what's up? And welcome to episode number 140 of the Unknown Games Podcast. I'm your host Adrian. This is a show where we talk about our favorite games, the news of this week in terms of gaming, and just like our life here in Japan because we live in Japan. And I'm not two people. That's not possible. I'm talking about my co-host Alex.
Have you ever seen Fight Club?
I've seen bits and pieces, but I can honestly say I've never seen the entirety of Fight Club.
Have you read Fight Club?
You know me in books.
Okay.
That would be a no.
You know the story of Fight Club, right?
I know that you never talk about Fight Club.
Do you actually not know the story of Fight Club?
I really don't know the story of Fight Club. No.
Okay. Okay.
I've committed a sin right here. What's going on?
You should probably just. Well, I was gonna make a joke about you. I mean, well, you won't get it. You've never seen Fight Club.
Hey,
But
that's if you want to. Yeah, I'll look it up. It can't be too bad, right? I guess That's my homework for this weekend. Watch Fight Club.
so watch Fight Club. You probably like it. Like, I mean, it's obviously a video. A video.
It's a video game.
Movie
Oh,
that.
no.
Yeah, it's a movie that a lot of people like have like talk about or whatever, right?
Right.
I mean, it's one of the I would say people would maybe call it a classic. Would you consider Fight Club a classic? Like it's pretty.
It's a classic. I mean, like it's one of those movies that has a lot of cultural reference in it. Like, well, not in it, but of it,
Yeah,
right? Like even
yeah.
from middle school, like you just hear people say like you never talk about fighting. At least I know that much, right? It has a
It's a good
phrase that comes out of it.
it's a pretty good story. Like the fighting of Fight Club is pretty secondary to like the actual like
What's actually
you know
happening?
yeah, the actual plot. Like the fact that there's a club in the end people fight, like that's not really this like it's not like
Yeah,
I'm go-
it's like what's on the
yeah.
surface, right? It's like
Yeah, he's
that's
like,
the surface,
I'm
but
gonna be the best fighter in Fight Club. That's not the story of Fight Club.
that's a shonen
Yeah,
manga right there in and
yeah,
of
it is.
itself.
That's a shonen manga.
That's a
Yeah,
shonen manga right there.
yeah. You should watch. You should watch Fight Club. It's probably on Netflix or something.
It
But
is. It has or Amazon Prime. It's on one of the two. But that's gonna be my homework. Maybe I'll watch tomorrow. That seems like
yeah, you
a good
should. It's
little
good.
thing.
I've seen it like a couple times. It's just a movie that you're like, yeah, it's Fight Club. It's I don't know. You'll like it. You'll probably like Fight Club. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. What's up? I'm Alex. Hey.
There we go. Weird.
Yeah.
That's us. And of course, thanks to everyone who's watching on YouTube live right now. And if you're not, if you're listening to this on Google Play Podcast or iTunes, Spotify, any of those services, go ahead and follow the YouTube channel so you can see our lovely faces. Unknown Games Podcast. It's a good place. We put up content. It's a nice, fun place to be around. And like I said, there's nothing better than our faces. Maybe our voices.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, we're super hot and stuff.
Yeah, if you want to continue imagining us, you can. You ever have that moment where like you imagine what your favorite character looks like in like an adaptation, and then you finally see them and hear them, and you're like, that's not
No.
how they were in my mind.
No.
Really? No.
I don't know. Maybe. It hasn't happened in a while, actually. I would say.
It has been a little bit of a time since that's been, you know, all these comment like I guess we're kind of used to it now, right? And also things are like more standard, like Marvel movies, or you have the same actor going through most of that period of time. But like when that first started, it's like, oh, is this Spider-Man? Is this my Spider-Man? Who is this guy?
Yeah.
Anyways.
This isn't the Spider-Man that I imagined him to be. Who is this guy?
Anyways, we're gonna get into the show, I mean, we're gonna be talking. There's not much to talk about in terms of news. The only thing that came out this week or last week was Stray, and we know a lot of people are playing that. Get your cat loving on. I don't know. Are you gonna play Stray? Are you gonna
Yeah,
pick it up?
probably. Yeah, to see. I think I've heard it's only like 5 hours or something, but
Yeah.
that's like a perfect like that's a game that I can uh get behind and like stream and enjoy. Like it's short enough for me to be like this is a nice little like break from like a long ass RPG or something.
Exactly. And then speaking of long RPGs, you just finished one. Stranger of Paradise. Well, what is it actually called again? Because it's like Final Fantasy Origins, Strangers of Paradise. Is that it?
No, I think it's Stranger of Paradise Final
Final
Fantasy
Fantasy
Origin.
Origin. Okay.
Yeah.
So you just finished that, and let them. Yeah. Where can they watch you play more games like this? And we'll just put it on. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So I stream the whole game on my Twitch channel. It's twitch.tv/root24. If you want to jump in and like try to watch the VODs, you're more than welcome to. You might as well follow while you're at it. But I took a long time to play this game.
It was
Like,
it was how was it
yeah,
just like a month, 2 months,
no. The game came out in
March, end of March?
March,
Yeah.
the middle, like like the last quarter of March, like March 18th.
Okay, okay.
So the game came out in March, and I bought it and I played it really close to launch, and then it's the end of July now, and I just finished it. So
Well, I mean, and you
yeah,
took some breaks off of it. You didn't. You only streamed twice a week, and
I
like
I, I
most of the time,
only
you split it. You split, you
I
know.
like really took my time with this game. Like I never played it consecutively more than two days in a week until like this month.
I would say you almost
Um,
grinded more in Dragon Quest.
yeah, Dragon Quest was like a yeah.
Dragon
I mean,
Quest.
I had to play a lot of Dragon Quest off stream actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I had to grind off stream because I didn't want to be like, "Hey guys, what's up?" And it's like me running around the same field for 2 hours and being like, "Thanks for hanging out," and then like that's it. Like
That's it.
I don't want stream. I mean, it depends on the type of streamer you are, and it depends on the type of person. The why you come to someone's stream. So some people would totally be okay with that because like, oh, I just want to hang out with you as you grind. Like that's totally cool. And if you're totally down with that, then um, like you more like I would love to just like sure we can chat, we can hang out as we play whatever. But I'm self conscious that like I don't want someone to be like, hey, what's up? And like, oh, why are you just fighting four enemies for 2 hours? You know what I mean? Like I don't want
No,
to
no, I,
bore it.
I,
Yeah.
I totally know what you mean. Like I have the same type of thing sometimes with Nino Kuni, but Nino Kuni, like I can get over the grind spike. It's not too long. It's about 30 minutes or less usually. Um, but I totally understand because I've had to do that with other games off stream. But I mean, so what are your thoughts on it? You finally finished it. I mean, I think you said multiple times you like the battle system. And then the
Yeah.
story is what it is. I know they threw a lot of it at the end of it. I mean, how'd you feel about that, the story, and then your final thoughts? What are you thinking?
The story was fine. Okay, so yeah, the number one reason to buy this game, if you're even remotely on the fence, is like the combat. Like, just imagine that the game doesn't have a story because it kind of doesn't.
It doesn't. Okay.
Yeah. But if you like watch the trailers or you're watching some gameplay of it and you're like, that looks kind of fun, or like, oh, I like action games actually. I kind of like these semi-tense battles. Then that would be the reason to buy the game. It's got really satisfying combat. Um, and the combo system is relatively flexible in the sense that you can get to the game kind of button mashing, which is what I did. That's how I played through the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but there's several levels of difficulty. So if you want more intense combat, absolutely you can step it up, and that would require you to have like more competent combos where you would need to like start out as one class, and then as you finish like a combo chain in that one class, you would quickly switch to another job class and kind of extend that
Mm-hmm.
combo. And that's what the flexibility of the combo system allows you to do if that's your gameplay style. But if you're just like pretty casual action game player,
Yeah.
you can play it how I did, which is basically you stick to two jobs for 40 hours and you just kind of do two combos repeatedly, and you can beat the game like that. Yeah,
Yeah. And I mean, I think there's 26 jobs in this game, or
it's like a buttload of jobs.
it's a buttload of jobs, and of course you don't have to max out all of them if you don't want to. And I guess that's one of the things I know personally I liked about FF13 a little bit. Well, paradigm shifting was one thing, but I'm a 10-2 fan. I love my dress spheres, which is essentially
Those are
both of
jobs,
these
basically jobs. Yeah,
basically
yeah.
switching through jobs. And I love the way that you find that sweet spot where you can switch through to a job to continue your combo or continue something, and or like maybe avoid enemy attacks. I don't know if that really comes into play here. Like I don't think switching actually does any type of like invincibility frames, but it's still
No,
just
yeah,
yeah. It's still
maybe
nice,
actually, yeah.
you know.
Sorry.
It's like thinking,
Yeah, no. So I mean, the biggest draw of the game is absolutely the combat. And maybe if you want a game to play with friends, because it actually does have online co-op.
that
So
is
if you
true.
want, yeah, which I never
It
did.
does.
It might be fun to play with people actually. But
I've only seen it once. It was like a sponsor stream, but it looked like they were having more fun. I guess because like you do have, was it two other AI companions with you at all times usually, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So, I mean, anything's better with other people. We've proven with Resident Evil 5 and or 6.
Yeah, the AI kind of sucks actually in 5, but yeah. So like the only reason to buy this game is if you like the combat, or maybe if you want to play a game with some of your friends.
Mm-hmm.
The story is so the game is about 40 hours long. So I finished the last mission and I clocked in at like basically 40 hours.
Okay. Okay.
Um, you don't honestly get any kind of satisfying story exposition until like hour 35 maybe. Like there are cutscenes, you get cutscenes, you get a short cutscene before all the major bosses, but it's pretty much the cutscene is just like I am this boss, and then Jack's like, oh, I'll give a fuck. Like that's pretty much how one of the
He kind of
cutscenes.
does just say like, "Ugh, oh man, who are you? Where's chaos?"
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and he
yeah,
keeps
and
saying
then
it's like a broken record, but
yeah, like one of the cutscenes is before you fight one of the elemental fiends,
mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
he's like starting to introduce himself, and then Jack literally like runs up and he says, and I quote, "I don't give a fuck who you are," and then punches him in the
He just
face,
punches
and
him.
that's literally how the cutscene plays out. It's like really funny. It's pretty memeable and it's funny.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but that's like the extent of the cutscenes before these boss fights. So basically not a story. Like that's that's like nothing really.
And
Um,
yeah, and it's
and then you
crazy.
get like you get a couple like you get a cutscene after the fight, and it's kind of like it's a little bit of story. You're like,
Hmm.
who is this mysterious person? And then they like join your party, and you go back to some other person, and he's like do this, and you're like, got it, man. And there's some story that's trickled in the mission, like you'll find an interactable object, and you'll get like a literally a text box, and you have to read it. Like that's how you get your story exposition.
Yeah,
But it's really like unclear. Like it's what's the word? It's like a drip feed of like the world.
yeah, yeah.
It's kind of like it doesn't really have context, and you're just like, what is this
Especially if you're
referring to? Yeah,
playing it broken up, you take a break from it or whatever. And like for anyone who's watching right now, like, if you just want to like listen and not watch, because these are the final cutscenes of the game, like in this area. So if you just want to listen to us, go ahead and do that. We're not going to spoil anything for you.
yeah. This is literally the final fight. Like this is the final
Yeah,
fight on screen right
yeah,
now. Yeah,
yeah.
but
But I mean, how were the fights though? And not the fights, but like the boss fights, right? Because it seems like you go through a lot of the different Final Fantasies. You go through like their worlds, and that was kind of the appeal for a lot of the, I guess, core fans. It's like, oh, I remember this from like FF6 or FF7 or something. I don't know if seven's in this reference,
it
but
is. It is. Yeah, it is.
okay, okay. So you're kind of like going through all the worlds, and well, that's kind of a cool fan service, but done in a kind of like respectful way, and it's not thrown at you. But if you know it, you know it, and that's like that cool nod, right? But are the bosses also the same? Are they also from those games, like,
No,
or
the
are they
bosses are
from
the
this
elemental
game?
fiends from one.
Okay, okay, okay.
So the worlds are gonna be like, oh, this is from 13. This is from 11. This is from 4.
Hmm.
But then the major bosses of the story are the 4 elemental fiends from FF1, plus chaos, plus the thing, plus the final boss, which is we'll just call it like super chaos, I guess. But yeah,
Super chaos. I mean, I will say though, at the very end, I thought that the way they ended the story was really what was nice. I mean, without going into spoilers, I thought that was. I was like, I wouldn't mind having the whole game just be more clear about that. Because
yeah. So
there's a
this
twist, but
it is a bit of a twist. Yeah, I mean, so up until the last 5 hours of the game, the story's drip fed to you. Because so the game starts out where Jack and party like they don't have any memories. Like they have no memories really of who they are, where they're from.
right, right.
All they know is that they want to kill chaos. Um, and then like as you play through the game, like you get little snippets of Jack's memory. So your party members start to get their memory back. You'll find text that's referring to something, some like experiment, referring to some kind of plan, some kind of thing, and you're trying to like figure out like what does this mean in context? Like who is making a plan? What is this experiment? What is this? What does this even mean?
Uh-huh.
Why does Jack not have any memories? Yeah, and then the last 5 hours, they hit you so hard, like with cutscenes. Like all the story starts to just, it's
Come
just
together.
cutscenes. Like I've
I
never seen so
I
many. Yeah,
I usually I hate when that usually happens. Like Bayonetta was the worst for that for me. It was literally a 20-minute cutscene at the very end. I was just like, why are you giving me this now? Like spread it out or something. At least tell me some of this stuff earlier. But sometimes some things love to do that big reveal and just explain everything at the end.
yep,
Um, and that's normal. The converse is you get something like Hideo Kojima and you get hour-long cutscenes throughout the entire game. You know, it's a
Yeah,
trade-off.
but at least with like MGS, like you like from start to finish, it's consistent. It's
It's
a
consistent.
cutscene
Yeah,
heavy game,
it's consistent. Yeah.
and it's consistent. Yeah, the Stranger Paradise, and I'm not really like giving it shit because I know what kind of game. Again, it doesn't really shy away what kind of game it is.
It's
It's
like
an
an
action
action
game.
movie. Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
action movie.
So you're just doing combat. It's all gameplay for 35 hours, and then at the end, I swear to God, it's just like, oh, we forgot to like tell the story, and then
We
they just
forgot
like
to tell the story.
yeah, and then they just like hit you with cutscenes. But overall, pretty satisfying. It ends in an okay way. It ends in such a way that I'm like, oh, like I'm okay with this. Like this is um fine. I would say that my money was kind of well spent. I mean, it was really expensive, honestly. But
Yeah, but it's a full price game.
how much did I pay for this game? I think I paid
If you
in
paid in
CAD
yen,
actually.
oh, okay,
I think I
okay.
paid in CAD. It was
Is it
90 CAD.
70? Oh, okay. Like, is that what, 70 USD or something?
I
70?
think it might have been seven. I mean, just I bought it on the Epic Game Store because on PC, which I played it on, it's exclusive to Epic right now.
Right, right. And I think it
And
ran
I don't
pretty
know.
fine, minus like some frame rate hitches or some weird slowdowns.
Well, consistent
Oh,
slowdowns. It's
consistency.
pretty, yeah,
Okay. Never mind.
it's playable, but like it's consistent frame drops. I'm already logged in though, so I don't think I can like re. Oh, so it's 80 CAD. It's on sale right now. Actually, if anyone gives a shit, it's on sale right now on the Epic Game Store, for 30% off. But I bought it for 80 CAD, and it's on sale. So
Okay. Well, that's what's up. And of course, if anyone wants to continue the story,
that is DLC.
yeah, the
There's DLC
DLC
for it right now.
Trials of the Dragon King, which we're not
Yep.
going to go into it. I'm not 100% sure, but it seems like maybe it picks up right out after the last part of the cutscene. Some things happen, and maybe it's just, I don't know. It could be just a fight for all I care. It really could be. It could be. I don't know, but I mean, do you think you might want to try the DLC? I don't think it's supposed to be anything long. Honestly, it might just be literally a fight.
Well, it's $35 CAD.
Oh,
It's 30.
well, it better be
Yeah,
more than a fight then.
it's
It better be
35
more.
CAD. It looks like it's 3 missions and a bunch of side missions and some new equipment and new abilities and new enemies. So for it to be a third, more or less, of the cost of the base game, I would expect it to have at least 15 hours of content.
That would make sense. I mean, they did a
But
great job with, and this is not, the remake staff or anything like that, but I think maybe Square might be. Well, I don't know who decides how long the DLC is, like honestly, but yeah, I would expect the same thing. If you're paying $35 or whatever, you should get 15 hours. You should get something out of it.
yeah, I'd be pretty pissed if it was like the Code Vein kind of DLC, which I don't think you haven't even played yet.
No, I've still got to get
But
around to Code Vein.
yeah, there's a bunch of Code Vein DLC. If you go on Steam right now and you look up the Code Vein DLC, they're like all like negatively like reviewed because they're like 10 some dollars a piece, and it's like a fight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not cool. That's not cool. Hopefully Bandai Namco will get their act together one day and they'll put out Blue Protocol for us. Until then,
Oh, totally forgot about that, dude.
the one game you can always forget about. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad you at least enjoyed the game and can at least recommend it for anyone who loves action games. Of course, Final Fantasy. And I would, the only one question I would ask, if someone is just like, they love Final Fantasy, but they're not really good at action games. You said you can button mash through it, so they should
Yeah,
be okay,
you
right?
can also lower the difficulty. So
Okay.
I didn't play on that difficulty, so I don't know how it is, but yeah, you can lower the difficulty to some other thing, and maybe Jack takes a lot more damage before he dies or something.
Okay. Well, that's what's up. That's what's up. And yeah, I've been playing Cuphead. I've been on the Cuphead grind, which has
Yeah,
been fun.
you finished it, or
Yeah. So I finished in about 9 hours. That's Cuphead and the DLC. I finished the first game in about, I guess, maybe like five streams, I want to say. And then the DLC was maybe about 3 streams. So the DLC is, I know a lot of people say the DLC is short because it took around 5 years to come out. But it's 5 levels with, it's got some optional bosses in there, and it's a lot of fun. Like, honestly, I know a lot of people say it's hard, and I can see where the difficulty is in the game. Like, it's one of those things like if you play Contra or like a Metal Slug or something like
Sure,
like
yeah. It's like kind of that, yeah.
yeah, you're not getting any health back per se. Um, but it's charming. I mean, I love a lot of these bosses. I love the transformation with them. And but I guess the biggest thing with this DLC is that up until now you've been playing Cuphead and Mugman, and you have it's pretty much they move this the same way. But Miss Chalice, she has a dash parry, so no longer do you have to do a jump parry. She's also got a double jump and an invincibility roll. So she's got a lot of tools that she can use, and it does change the way you play the game because the way you have to parry is like these bosses are kind of meant for her. They really
Would
are.
you say that Cuphead is actually legitimately a hard game, or is it the difficulty of Cuphead kind of stems from the fact that it feels a lot like some of the older games from like the late 80s or early 90s?
That's a good question.
Like, you played Mega Man, yeah?
Yeah.
Have you played Mega Man recently?
Not recently, no.
Because it's like it can be hard at times. But I don't think anyone when we were growing up, I don't think we ever said like, "Oh, Mega Man's a hard game."
Oh yeah, it's like it's hard. You just jump, and I think that does apply. Like, what's really cool is you can finish up a lot of these. Like, if you die, you come back. Like, you can just do it. You can retry over and over really quick. What makes it hard is, like I said, that Contra element of you only have 3 lives. She has 4 lives. That's one of the cool things about Miss Chalice. But yeah, you only have 3 chances to go through. Essentially, like it's crazy. You finish these levels and it says you clocked in at 2.5 minutes or less. You're like, I swear I was playing this for a lot longer than 2 minutes. But yeah, in that time, unless you're using a certain skill, you're not gonna get any more health back.
You use those 3 lives, so it is kind of like older games then when you have finite lives, then, right?
Yeah, you have a finite life.
Yeah.
And they make it to where if you make it as hard as you want to. This game does, and I was pleasantly surprised to find this, but if you buy the extra hearts, you can have up to 5 hearts, and the trade-off is that you'll deal less damage.
For having more lives.
For having more lives. So that's fair. They have an automatic lock-on weapon. You don't have to do anything except for focus on dodging if you want to. It does less damage, but if that's something that's giving you trouble, take that out on some of the different levels. And there's more powerful weapons that get the job done. There's supers that give you invincibility. There's an invincibility dash. I mean, there's a lot of things that they do to help you if you choose to do it. But overall, yeah, you're gonna have to. There are some moments where you know how like a game sets you up, like you jump in a certain place, and there's no earthly way you're gonna avoid something. Like
are there blind jumps in Cuphead? You know what I mean by a blind jump, right?
No. What would be a blind jump in?
So there's a couple blind jumps in like Mega Man games where you
jump across the screen and you don't know where you're gonna land.
Yeah, you actually don't know where you're gonna land, and unless you've done it before, you can just die.
You can just die, like especially like when you're jumping down. I remember those were always
yeah.
Fun.
You would jump off a ledge, and like, is there a platform there? I don't know. And like, there's a couple times in Mega Man where you have to do a blind jump, and you have to learn like how to like it's a long fall, and there's spikes on the sides, and you have to like move. You have to move left and right
a little bit just to.
Yeah, but unless you've done it before, you don't know like where the spikes are. So yeah, that's like a blind jump.
So what's cool about this game is that like that you don't have to worry about any of that. It essentially takes place all on one screen. The trade-off is that you do have you can't go through the screen like to the other side, like like a Pac-Man or something. Go from the right side and come out on the left.
Like loop, you mean?
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you can't loop. And then the other thing is that you you have. I think bosses have 3 to 4 phases. And what's cool is they give you a progress. Like you can see here, like, okay, I'm almost to the third, the next phase. But yeah, each of these bosses has around 3 to 4 phases, and some of them vary. Some of these bosses, I was like done with them, like quick. And others, they took me 2 hours.
Oh, really?
Some of them, this hot dog boss right here. Let me see if I can find the hot dog boss really quick. This dude, for whatever reason, took me a while. You're flying in a plane. And this part was like, some of the stuff is like fine. Some of the stuff you're like, okay, you make a simple mistake and you're like, okay, it's okay. I can make it past this, whatever. It's when they certain forms, you're just like, there's too much stuff on the screen, or like the
You like
patterns get kind of
do you have
different.
to like learn the rotation like you would for like a Dark Souls boss or?
Yeah, yeah. You learn the rotation. You learn how to kind of cheat and get more damage where you can.
Oh, I
Um,
love doing that as like in a
yeah,
lot of old school games, like in Mega Man, where you like with the while this boss is doing this animation, you can just spam
yeah,
your gun repeatedly.
yep,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yep, yep, yep. And that's where it's like, okay, this is really rewarding when you finally get it. And so like for a lot of these trophies, like I could see myself like if I really wanted to try to get 100% or whatever, I feel like I could. Because I finished most of the levels either with 2 lives or some cases just 1 life, but you can actually really get S's. I was a B, A student for the most part. S
I
is
think
like you
that
do
seems
that
okay. Yeah.
perfectly. But yeah, it was like this part right here. I'm looping it again, but freaking just so much on the screen for a second, and I'm like, okay, goodness gracious.
Yeah,
So that part would get
yeah.
me.
So I mean, you beat it all, and like, yeah. I mean, having finished the whole game, would you still consider it a hard game, or do you think it's a fair? Is it hard but
It's
fair, or is it just like it's actually hard,
it's for me, I
or
never
is it not
felt it
hard at
was.
all?
I felt it was always fair. Every mistake, I felt like, and I did change the controls up to be a little bit better for me. But every mistake I knew was something
You knew
I
why you
did.
died.
I knew why
Yeah.
I died. Nothing ever felt unfair, minus this one level. But that was still me kind of flubbing with the controls.
Yep.
But for the most part, I can honestly say this game is fair. It is as difficult as you want it to be, right? What I love about this bomb part is you don't have to use the bombs. Bombs in the plane means you get close, so you hit them, but they deal more damage. But if you want to just lame it, I don't want to say lame it, but if you just want to like just shoot normally like a shoot 'em up, far away with your projectiles, you can do that. It's easier to dodge, right? It's as much as you want to take, as much as you want to invest in terms of the risk. And every boss, like I said, they have clear tells, and I don't think they ever cheat you. They never cheat you, and there's a good variety. You never do the same thing twice, and that's what's cool. Little mechanics like jump, dash, parry, and shoot. Good weapon variety and everything. So it's a lot of fun.
Right. So it's like so all your deaths you think are warranted. Like you understand clearly why you died.
Yeah, you 100%. And it's sometimes you'll be like, oh man, come on, give me that game or something. But yeah, all the hitboxes for something that is hand drawn animation too. I have to say, which is beautiful. I love the music in this game. I love the hand drawn animation. The
Yeah,
hitboxes are
it's got a sick
perfect.
art style. Like it's got that old what is it like? What era is it?
19,
Like the
I think it says 1930s or 40s or something.
early cartoon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only. I mean, I think it doesn't just show that in terms of like the color palette. Like
Hmm.
it's kind of like a little desaturated just because it's been making the art like the art from that time, but also it's got that grainy film filter
Yeah.
on top of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
as if it's like a reel. It's like a physical reel that's like um,
It does
being like
that.
being cranked. Yeah, you can see the
Hmm.
grainy as if it's like actually real film that's being reeled through a crank.
Like
So
like when the cranks. And what's even cooler is they go in this DLC specifically. They give you a kind of, was it like what was it, Gumby? I want to say, yeah, this background right here. It whatever. It's not claymation, but it's whatever Gumby. I think Gumby was claymation or something, but it's whatever this background is. I thought this was amazing, especially when it rotates too in 3D space. It's like those old cartoons when they're on Technicolor as well, but
mm,
it's nice. So it's a lot of fun. I think if you're looking for a challenge, definitely go ahead and pick up Cuphead and the DLC. DLC is like only $8 or something. It's relatively cheap. Um, so maybe $30 altogether. And especially if you like 2D platformers, I highly recommend it. If you want to play it with a friend, and that's what I wish I was able to do, but it's only local co-op and remote play. So
yeah, you could probably do a remote play on Steam, but as long as like you need like a pretty solid connection for
connection.
this
Yeah,
to be viable. Otherwise, it probably wouldn't be very fun.
yeah, yeah, yep. That's exactly it. So yeah, if you're looking for a fun game and a challenge, definitely pick up Cuphead. It's good stuff.
Yup.
Moving on, we got some news today. Not too much because, like I said, not much has happened in the gaming world. We talked about, Stray. You might pick it up, but Stray had over 62,000 concurrent cat lovers, as this article says, playing on Steam within the first 24 hours of release.
That's a lot, yeah.
People love the cats, man. People love the cats, which is, I've seen a little bit of the game, and I didn't want to spoil myself because, like you said, it's not exactly a long game. But
Yeah, it's
I'm
only
glad.
like 5 hours.
Yeah, I'm glad they are enjoying some good success. And it had a lot of people on Twitch too. Yeah, with about
Yeah, a lot of
284,000
people who were
views.
streaming it. Like, why do you think this game got some pretty good early release? Do you think it's because it looks good, or do you think it's the cat? Like, do you think
It's
the
the
selling?
cat. It's
You
the
think
cat.
that? But then why do
It's a
not other
little.
cat? Because this isn't the first game include like involving a
How
cat. Like,
how many games though can you play as a cat?
I mean, there's cat lateral damage where you play as a cat knocking shit off like tables, and that seems kind of fun.
I think okay, so it's two parts because this is something when I asked people in my chat, I was like, "What do you do in this game?" For the I think they have like I think there might be 2 or 3 trailers for this game. None of it actually says like you have to go to the Steam page to know the story and what's actually happening in terms of what you're doing. It says it's like an adventure minor puzzle type game, right?
Yeah.
Um,
That's probably what I imagined it to be.
the
Yeah.
the charm comes from the fact that they went all in on this cat and if you want to scratch, you can scratch the door like a cat. You can walk and sit down and lick yourself. You can actually, there is a lick yourself in this. You can, everything you do feels so authentic when you look at it, and you can tell they made it with a lot of love and care. And people, there's that mystery. What's going to happen to the cat? There's this mysterious cyberpunk world with these kind of robot figures. I know that you talked about that. You're like, what exactly happened in this world? Why is there a cat? Are there other cats? And it's that mystery. But they completely didn't tell you anything about what you're doing, or even show much danger outside of one little scene of him being chased by some blob thingies, so
Yeah.
it's a mystery. But people love animals. Anytime you have a game and it's like, there's an animal in it, the first question is, can I pet it?
Well, usually if it's like a dog or something, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, can I pet it? And this one, it's like, you don't have to pet it, you can be it. That's a huge appeal point, I think, for a lot of pet lovers.
Yeah, I mean, it got a lot of early press, and I think if you go on the Steam page, it says most like overwhelmingly positive, actually.
Maybe so. Which anything that crosses into overwhelmingly positive, I've never had a bad experience. Just let it be.
Yeah,
said.
it is overwhelmingly positive right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never had a bad experience with an overwhelmingly positive game. I don't. I'm going to be playing it too just to see. I'm not a cat person, so I'm looking forward to just kind of checking out the world. I've heard the music is good, so kind of chilling and seeing what that's about. I mean, since you're going to pick it up, I mean, what are you thinking and what are you looking forward to in the game?
I just want to see. I want to kind of like enjoy the world. I want to like unravel. I want to like get absorbed into the world and like, try to figure out like what the vibe is. Because I think from the trailer, like there's no humans really, right?
Yeah, that we know
So
of.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and I think like part of the fun is going to be like not having the story told to you, but kind of discovering the story as you play through it. And also
Yeah.
like puzzles, sure. Like I'm sure like the puzzling. I hope the puzzles are going to be like not annoying or anything. So
I hope not. I don't think they should be. It seems like from the one puzzle I did see it's like a fetch quest, What?
yeah. Are you?
Oh,
Sorry,
am
I'm
I?
still.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry. I was muted
I
on
think you're
Discord for a
muted.
second.
You
Yeah,
muted the whole
yeah.
time. Yeah.
I didn't know how. But yeah, from what I did see, it's like kind of like a fetch quest, right? You might talk to a robot and they're like, "Hey, I need this to kind of get into this," and you go find it and you bring it back, and then, you know,
Yeah.
they do it. So it's not nothing too complicated, and maybe that's also part of the appeal. This cat has maybe 9 lives. I don't know. It's a cat. We'll
Okay.
give you
Yeah.
we'll give you our thoughts on it after this, or after we play it. Also, Bayonetta dev, Platinum Games is now going to have a. This article says significant change after hiring former Nintendo executive Takao Yamane has joined the team of, not like Bayonetta, but for, as the new vice president, vice principal of the studio. And he used to be the general manager and managing director of sales and planning at Nintendo. What was cool from this article that came out, along with Kamiya and Inaba, so CEO and director over there, is that they've got multiple projects in the works. Of course, we know about Project GG. Apparently, the scale has been ramped up on it. It's gotten larger. But what's really cool is they've got unannounced games for other publishers at various points in their cycle. And then, of course, like they've got small projects, original IPs that they're working on. So it seems like they're like, we talk a lot of bad stuff about Platinum in terms of the recent Babylon's fall, but they have a lot of stuff on the horizon, and of course, expanding the staff from 299 employees, hopefully to like 1,000 employees is what they're aiming for, and publishing digital games, physical games on a global scale. I think they have a huge vision coming forward, but it's always been something like, where was Bayonetta 3, right? I think that was, where was Bayonetta 3? What exactly happened to that game? And then
Right.
on top of Babylon's Fall, like, what was up with the management there? So maybe this solves that. I don't know.
I mean, that's a lot of employees, man. That's like over double.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Do you think they're going to be working on Astral Chain 2?
They have to be, right? Because that game actually sold well, and it did well. I mean,
you still haven't played it, right?
I still haven't played it. No, yeah.
Do you still? Do you still want? Do you?
I still want to.
play it
Like the only games I want to play on Switch right now are Bayonetta 2, Astral Chain, and there's maybe a little bit of Breath of the Wild. I don't think I can hang into all of it.
What about like Pokemon?
I finally crossed it off my list.
You're not gonna play Pokemon?
I gave up. I started playing Pokemon Cafe, and it was okay too.
Why Cafe? You're like Arceus? Nah. Pokemon Cafe Mix? Yeah.
Somehow I found
it's
out
like
that
Drake meme, but like for reverse games. Like what are you talking about?
I found out that I like. So my interaction with Pokemon is that I like learning the new Pokemon, like getting up to date with all of them, not in
so
the game. And
you could have played Sword and
but
Shield then, but you chose Cafe Mix.
because Cafe Mix, you get a bunch of them in like little spurts, right?
Sure.
Like, and same thing with like Pokemon Unite and Pokemon what is that in English? The puzzle one. I can only think of it in Japanese.
The one you played on your smartphone?
Yep. I learned like 400 plus Pokemon from that.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it right now.
I got caught up. But I like spending time with Pokemon like that, and like in terms of the IP, I like a lot of their side games. The mainline stuff, and I've diagnosed what it is I just don't play my Switch.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the main.
me too,
that's
buddy.
the
Yeah,
main question.
Me too,
I mean, that's the main problem. I don't play my Switch, and it's hard for me to pick it up. That's it. That's the main.
I totally get what you mean. Like, I really understand you, and it's not for me. It's not just a Switch. It's also like any console. Like, I don't want like to come off as like a console hater or anything, but it's so convenient to play on PC because I'm on PC like constant. I'm literally on my PC right now to do this podcast. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean, we're always on it. I know. I had a friend who was like, a couple of people in chat were like, yeah, like. It's easy to play with my kids. When they're playing Switch, I can play with them. Or, if they're playing the console, whatever, I can play in the bed. Or, like that whole thing. That's a case for the Switch, and maybe there is a way
that makes sense to me. But yeah, as someone without kids, you know what I mean? Like,
right. So
yeah.
I mean, that's since around the last part of the Wii. That's how it's been with me and Nintendo consoles. That's why I was so on the fence about getting a Switch, because I knew I wouldn't touch it.
I'm telling you though, like I agree, I completely understand like where you're coming from, and I'm the same way. But Arceus is like the one game that was like, oh yeah, I can play games on not PC. Like, yeah, no, I'm telling you, I told you before when the game came out early this year, but like Arceus is the first time in 25 years, that I was like invested in a Pokemon game, like since Gold and Silver. Like I was like, I want to just play Arceus right now.
And there's like a lot of people who like honestly feel the exact same way. And then like, with Scarlet and Violet, people are like, that seems like it's building on Arceus, plus the multiplayer component, We don't know 100% about all of it, but still, it seems like it's going to take everything and amp it up even more. So I know if some people are like super hype about that, and who knows, man. I should say never. Maybe I will hop into one.
If
Maybe
you
I
don't
actually
want to
will.
play Arceus, because we're like halfway through the year right now,
It's never
and
going on
like,
sale.
well, yeah, that's
You know
actually true. That's
Nintendo.
probably
You know Nintendo.
it probably won't ever go on sale. The only time you would catch it on any kind of discount is if you like walk into like a book off and it's like $10 cheaper or something. But
Yeah, the
um,
physical version. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. If you don't want to buy Arceus at this point in the year, because you're like, oh, why would I buy Arceus when Scarlet Violet's out in like 3 months? Fuck me, 3 months. Oh my god, oh, like 4 months, I guess. But
Yeah, yeah.
um, yeah, because you're like, why would like I'm just gonna wait for the next games. And sure, like I would. Maybe you want to wait, then go ahead and wait. But I don't think that Scarlet Violet is going to be the same as Arceus,
Hmm.
which is not a bad thing. But it's just like Scarlet and Violet are going to be the next mainline games,
Right, right.
so they're going to follow like a little bit more of the tradition where it's gyms or something similar to gyms, and then like some kind of Elite Four or league fight near the end with some bad guys in the middle. I'm just guessing. That's the formula that Pokemon has traditionally have been, right?
Right, right.
Arceus though uh, is different because there are no gyms, there are no like Elite Fours. It's the first Pokemon game, kind of mainline game with like an actual kind of boss fight, and I was like, that this is actually
I remember
interesting.
seeing you do some stuff in it, and it's like
Yeah,
I think if if I can force myself to actually pick it up and get in a habit of playing my Switch at night or something, like a routine is what it's going to take. I need a routine of when I play my Switch. I feel like I would be able to do something like that.
it's Are you the kind of person that like when you play do you play open world games typically like in let's say like an Assassin's Creed or GTA or like any kind of
No,
open or yeah you played Elden Ring actually so yeah.
I don't. No, no, no. Elden Ring is an exception. But if it's not like if I can wrap my mind around it, and that's even
Yeah,
as
I'm not
big as
trying to
yeah,
say that Arceus is Elden Ring in size, but um, it does scratch that kind of itch where like the moment that you get into a new area,
yeah,
you're like, I'm gonna catch some Pokemon. I
explore,
don't like
chill.
I'm not gonna do the story right away. I'm gonna like see what this area has to offer, and I think that's like a lot of the fun of Arceus because you get mounts, you get like special traversal methods, like you can climb uh like rocks like at a certain part of the game, or now you can literally fly through the air, and you can like go back to older areas, including the first area, and like you realize, oh yeah, I always wonder like what was past those mountains, and I can go and find out, and then now there's like a lake there, like oh shit, I can catch like Gyarados and stuff. So like um, a lot of the fun is like exploring an area and then re-exploring that area when you have more traversal options.
It's
Uh,
it's tempting, man. It's tempting.
yeah,
Like I said, if I can get a habit of actually playing my Switch, that's the biggest thing to overcome, right? Because I don't play a lot of games off stream, or I guess maybe it
yeah.
takes me playing it on stream. Maybe that's
I
maybe
totally
that's it.
like. I'm the same way though, because like I don't know what it is, but I like don't play games like
I mean,
off my
off
PC.
stream,
I don't.
right? It's-
Yeah, or yeah, even even off stream. Actually, you're right. Like I have, like I'm looking like out of the corner of my eye. I have my Switch and my PS4 like
Mhm,
right
mhm.
there,
My PS4 is
and like
Netflix only right now for the
there's
past
like
2 years.
nothing. Yeah, and I have like I have two PC monitors, right?
Right, right.
So there's nothing stopping me from like popping YouTube up on this monitor and then playing PS4 on this monitor. But I like don't do it.
Right.
Like I don't know why. Like I just don't. Yeah.
It's like a thing. But maybe one day, maybe one. You know what? Maybe a Switch 2. Maybe the Switch 2 when it runs smoother and I have more confidence in it when I get. I don't know. Who knows? I can always be making up. Just making up an excuse like, oh, maybe this time, maybe this time. But I know you told me that the eShop was closing for 3DS and the Wii U eShop. Of course, both of those are going to be closing relatively soon.
Wait,
March.
did this article really come out 2 minutes ago, or did you save
No,
this?
no. I saved it, but for whatever reason, Pocket just decides to
Okay,
have
because this
random
is
timestamps on it.
it's two
I don't
minutes. I
never
was like,
know.
holy shit! How did you get it? How did you?
Oh, this is breaking exclusive news right here. You know it.
Well, how old is this article actually? Can you go? Can you
Oh,
go to the
the
original?
actual
Like,
original is
yeah,
because this might be crossing into last week. This is like 6 days ago.
Okay.
Yeah, this is like 6 days ago. It's gonna
6 days
close
ago. Okay, yeah.
March 27th in the West, 2023.
Oh, I love how the picture for this article is Fire Emblem, and I
You
was
said
like
that's the one game you wanted, like
that's the one thing that I need to get from the eShop before it closes. Yeah.
yeah. And then Japan, March
Yeah.
28th, 2020. So same day. Let's say same day.
Yeah. Yeah.
But apparently Nintendo's not gonna let anyone add any more funds after August 29th this year. So if you want to add some funds and then purchase something, you better do that quick.
Yeah, so there's a little like paragraph here in this article that we have up on screen, but it basically says like the article that we're talking about right now references the websites from Nintendo, and it says for Fire Emblem Fates in particular. If you guys haven't played Fates on 3DS, by the way, it's a pretty good game, but if you want to play through the whole story, you need to purchase the other routes as DLC.
Right.
Which at the time when the game came out, like when the game came out, I think it was like 5 years ago or something. Anyways, but when the game came out, you're just like, oh, this is fine. This is the era that we live in.
Mm-mm.
But now that shop is closing, there's gonna be no way past March to
because they're not on any form of physical media either. It's just it's just dead, gone.
Okay, so there's 3 routes for this game, 2 of which you can buy physically. But
Why
the
not
third
the
one,
third?
the
What?
third one, which is kind of like the true ending, like that's DLC only.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
All I can say is, what the?
So you
Yeah, 'cause
never
this-
played. You
oh
never,
wait, because this was the one that they released in three versions. Two versions. Two versions. Okay.
Yeah.
And you had to get, but yeah, that's right. This was the one with the multiple releases, but each one was technically different. Like you actually needed to do both of them, right?
I
Or
don't
a
think you
little
need to
bit
do
of
both.
both?
You need, if you, at the minimum, you need to play 2 routes: the one that you purchased and then the one that you download.
Okay.
Like the third route. Yeah. So Fate has, if you go and you buy or find a physical copy of one of either game, it doesn't matter. And you put it in. Like I would say, like within the first like hour of you playing the game, there's a question. Like the player, you get prompt with like a question, and you can only choose the option that applies to the physical version that you have in your 3DS right now. If you happen to like put the game in and then go to the eShop and then buy the second route and then launch the game, you can choose either option. Like it doesn't matter because you have both of them technically at that point. And then once you do one of those routes and you want to play the third route, you got to go buy that from the eShop as well as DLC. But yeah, the third route has no physical release. So if you have yet to do that,
do it now.
you need to add funds to your account before the 29th of August. And then you need to buy it before the end of March, which is something that I need to do. So within the next 4 weeks, I need to go
Grab yourself a
go to
card
go to
or
a
something,
Komini. Yeah, go get the Nintendo card, put that in my account and buy the stupid DLC. And,
DLC,
yeah,
just so you can
like-
finish it. And this one is like you can just watch it on YouTube. It might save you a little bit of a, if you know you're not going to play it, but at least you'll have it. That's the thing. At least you'll have
I mean,
it.
it's
you want to
fun.
play it.
You've actually never played Fire Emblem, have you? Or
I've never played. I've played the mobile one, but I've never played like an
Why?
actual.
Oh my
yes,
God.
I've played Heroes, but I've never played an actual.
I love
Fire
your
Emblem.
like Pokemon. Yeah, Cafe Mix.
Dude, Nintendo got me on this mobile grind. I am the
God.
I am the Nintendo
You're like
mobile
not even.
person.
You're like the kind of person. Okay, it's like, what would it even be like if it's like how there's a.
I'm in between, man. You know, I've got everything. Playing this
It would
Cuphead.
be. It would
playing
be
these
like
RPGs.
if you're like. I heard Nier is a good game, so I'm playing Reincarnation, but I've never played
no,
Automata.
At least I played Automata, but I did try out Reincarnation.
You haven't even finished Automata. You haven't even finished Automata.
Shut up, man. No. I can technically say I have finished at least 2 endings
You
of
saw
Automata.
you saw. Okay,
there you go. I've
saw
played at least 2.
credits. Yeah.
I've seen credits and 2s. I've seen credits.
When are you gonna finish Automata?
I don't know. I have to go back and do it. Look, I have to go back and do it eventually. That's kind of how it is, man. When the game gets put on hiatus, it's the same way with AI Somnium Files, right?
Oh my God! Yeah, I haven't even finished that either.
I told you,
oh my God.
man, I keep moving on. I keep moving. I'm doing like 4 games next month. I need to just go back. I just need to stop and be like, this month is reserved for games on hiatus. The good thing about Nier Automata is I did play a lot of it off stream because I really enjoyed it. I
Yeah.
finished. I want to say I'm like at 80 something percent of the side quest
For Route A or Route B?
for Route B. So Route BA, like, because I remember like you said like after Route C or whatever, like they don't really. There's nothing else except for maybe for one character. Like there's some that are added, but for the most part, like that's kind of it, right?
So once you finish Route B, um, and you see the credits again, that's when you're gonna be like, oh shit, I can't stop playing this now, because it like, I mean,
I was no, don't spoil it. I was hooked. Look, I love the game. I clearly like the game. I legit went and just did side quests because I liked the dialogue and
yeah.
stuff that
So
was in there. That stuff
once you
was on
finish
point.
B, once you finish B, you're like, okay, I'm all in now. Like I'm just gonna finish this to completion. So
Because it gets shorter each run. So
does it get shorter? Yeah, I guess because you're doing less side quests basically.
yeah, you're going through as what you said. So I'm just taking you on your word for that. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Final Fantasy 10 selling what's
Stage
this?
play tickets.
Yeah,
Oh
selling
well,
stage play tickets
it's like
to
kabuki.
celebrate its what is it? Is it the 10th anniversary?
No, my friend. 10 years ago was 2000 and
Wow.
2012 was 10
Wow.
years ago. Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I believe you're thinking 20 years.
Okay, celebrating its 20. Goodness gracious, man. Jeez.
Is that terrifying? Is that
That was a
scary,
great
right?
Christmas. I got that game for Christmas. Like I got 8 games that Christmas, and I was so happy. I was like, I finally got all of my relatives to give me one game each, and it worked. And I had 8 games for like the rest of the year. It was beautiful.
Can you believe FF10 came out 20 years ago?
Oh, now I can.
Yeah. I love how you're like 10 years. Like, no, dude. Like 10 years, we had iPhones 10 years ago.
I just, eh, darn it. Anyway, so
Uh,
it's gonna have a kabuki. It's actually kabuki.
it is
And
kabuki. Yeah, it's
yeah,
kabuki.
yeah. So that's gonna be pretty interesting. I've seen the main actor. I don't know who's maybe he's playing Tidus, but I've seen him as was it Naruto? I saw him as Naruto.
For
For Naruto.
was it a kabuki for Naruto or?
Yeah. There was a couple of years ago, like right before COVID. Anyways, that summer before, yeah, there was a Naruto one
Did
that
you
went all the
watch
way.
it?
Yeah. I went with a friend. We got tickets in the summer. It was in Tokyo, and we went and watched it. It was pretty crazy. It was pretty cool.
Really?
It's funny how they do like the clone jutsu too. Like a bunch of people just come out of nowhere, and then you're like, oh,
Oh, I see.
yeah. It was a lot of fun. Even my friend, he doesn't know it in Japanese, but he enjoyed it. So
Because he knows Naruto.
yeah, because he knows Naruto. You could kind of follow this stuff, but it was still like I don't know what's really happening. If you'll know it by what happens on stage. So it'll be interesting to see like Blitzball.
Oh
They
my
have to
god,
do it.
you're right. I hope they like fill a gigantic fish tank and they just dump like the people in there.
Well, it's coming
Yeah.
in. What is this going to be? Summer 2023 is.
Yeah, in a year from now.
It'll be a year from now. So people get ready. That's happening, and of course the game sold over or has shipped over 20 million units. So that's awesome. Congrats to that series, which was I think a lot of us. That I wouldn't say it's like our first Final Fantasy, but maybe it was like one of the most memorable Final Fantasies to a lot of people in our generation.
Because it was like the first one on PS2 and
PS2, yeah,
it was the first. I mean, 10 is important for a couple reasons, just in terms of the franchise itself. It was the first
it
one with voice acting, right?
it's important because of Lulu.
Yeah, she was a
She
good
was
one.
she was a good one.
Yeah, she was a good one. Yeah. Did you finish 10 though, right? You beat 10?
Yeah. I finished 10.
Yeah, I
Why
like
do you think
10.
I got
10
10 too, man? I was
10
in
is
it.
the weirdest. 10 for me is the game that I can replay the most of in the whole franchise. I don't know why. Like it's
Lulu?
not even like that long. Yeah, because of Lulu. Actually, yeah, you're right.
It's
Lulu.
Lulu. You know,
because it's
Just
Lulu.
say
Yeah.
it. Say Lulu.
I think if you rush through the game, it's like 25 hours. Actually, it's not even that long.
It's pretty straightforward. I mean, when
Yeah.
people were dogging on Final Fantasy on 13, and it was just like, 10 was linear as heck too, right?
10
Like
10 was pretty 10 10 was pretty
it was a
linear as
straight it was
well.
a
Yeah.
straight path as well. I don't know what y'all tripping on, but
Yeah.
at least it
Yeah.
had better characters. I will say it had better characters and a better overall theme, but
You
that
think 10
combat.
has better characters than 13? You're probably right,
Yeah,
actually. But
everyone can agree. I don't think you can argue this. That's a hard argument to go against right there.
can anyone? Who is the best character from 13? Is it?
13 had three awesome characters:
Is
Shaz,
it
Vanille, and freaking okay, maybe and Fang. Those are the only three real people in that game, and even then they
Fang was
kind of
good.
flub. And they kind of
Chao,
flub.
that was he was good too. He's a good character. But like
The
in
other
10,
the other
we're like
three, goodness gracious. In
10
10, there's
was
just
like
Orin and
uh
probably Orin Kimari says like
Kimahari,
5 words. He says like 5 words.
Calamari.
I call him Kimari for whatever reason. That's
I think it is Kimari, isn't it? Final
it is
Fantasy.
Kimari, right? Kimari.
It is Kimari, right? It's not
Yeah, yeah.
Calamari. Yeah,
No, he's not Squid or something.
yeah.
Very Rod Squid man. I think like Orin really like made a lot of the game for me, like the cool character, right? But
Yeah,
then,
Warren is a pretty chill character. Yeah, he's
and then
really
you
good,
still
yeah.
have Riku. A lot of people love Riku. She's fun.
Why,
She's
though?
cool. I never used her. I can never use thief classes. I never use a thief in any Final Fantasy. I
I never
It's
use
hard.
Kimari because I don't really use blue mages.
He's okay. I mean, I think my party was like Waka, Orin, and Tidus. I was heavy offense. Just let me break some guards, crush some people, throw a
Yeah,
ball.
I
at
was
'em.
Oron. Was Tidus Oron Lulu?
I know it
He's
was
just like a
Lulu.
vicious black mage, right? Like really good damage.
She's crazy. Yeah, she does great
Yeah.
damage.
And then I would do also Waka, because Waka's your debuffer. He's really good for
really
status
good.
effects. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That blitz ball, Lord, it does so many different things.
oh my god. My biggest pro tip to anyone who's like playing 10 for the first time, like as soon as you get a teleportation sphere, teach Yuna black magic and teach Lulu white magic. Because you have so much like points in magic, like Lulu by default like is if she uses a white magic spell, it's like a very powerful. She's such a good healer because she's already like a really like offensive character, and she's got a really big MP pool, so you can use her to heal a lot.
Yeah, she's
And
good.
then Lulu, or not Lulu, sorry, Yuna. If you don't teach Luna any black magic, she sucks for offense. Like you kind of don't
She
want her
doesn't
in
have
the
any.
party.
Yeah, she really
Yeah.
doesn't. Her only
Like,
purpose is to heal and summon.
To heal, yeah. So like, why would you have her in a party? All she does is heal. She can't do damage. But you teach her like flare, and then now she's doing all the damage. Like,
She's doing some stuff.
yeah. So
I mean, that game was a lot of fun. Honestly, like I said, I enjoyed the characters enough to pick up 10-2 and enjoy 10-2.
did you like 10-2 though? Did you?
I like.
more
I
than
mean,
10?
I like pain. I like pain.
I think you have like a type. I think you have a specific type.
There's
Actually,
a type that's happening.
Yeah,
right
you have
here
a type that you like. Yeah.
that happened at one point in my life that I didn't know about. But no, I like I said,
awaken this thing. Yeah.
I love the combat in 10-2, right? And
And
I
it
was
ATB,
I
right?
w-
Because I got the ATB back. Yeah.
and the dress spheres, and I thought I was going to get a good ending for the game, right? It was like, okay, I want the sequel.
It's kind of a good ending. It was kind of a good ending.
It was kind of a good ending. That's the best way anyone can probably put that. But that was honestly it. That's why I picked it up. And then I was like, okay, this is like girls just want to have fun. So then when 15 comes on, I'm like, oh look, it's boys just want to have fun. Okay, cool. When I finally get this, I finally downloaded the demo, and I'm like, okay, I got a little bit of hang of the combat. I looked at it on PC. I'm like, I wish I had a 4K monitor and stuff, but it looks cool. I enjoyed it, so I just need to pick it up and make some time to play it. But I'm like, okay, I'm feeling this. I'm feeling this game too.
Man, so you haven't played 15?
No, not outside of like the was it
The demo?
the demo on Windows. Yeah.
I tried. Oh man! So after I beat FF7 remake last or 2 years ago, I was like, that was good. The combat in 7 remake is satisfying. Like, I want to replay 15. Going from 7 remake to 15 is so hard. It makes
It is too
15
different.
look. It makes 15 look bad.
I don't like how I have to use magic in 15 or whatever. Like some weird. There was something about the control that I didn't like. It feels not broken. It's not fluid. The
I
game
did
is
it. So
not
when
fluid.
I played 15, just when I was playing it, I actually liked the combat. I actually like, this isn't bad. This is fun. This is a fun game. I beat it. I beat it actually.
Yeah.
Uh,
I like
and then
the
7
sword combat and I like how it is kind of simple to do like the dodges. you know,
And you can like
dodging and stuff
you can
and
teleport
teleport.
and
Yeah,
stuff.
that
Yeah,
that
yeah,
stuff is
yeah.
cool. It was just like the weird, like when I was out of stamina and I was like, what the heck is this happening?
Oh, the
Let me
stamina system was so irritating.
let
It's
me fucking
so
go
yeah.
hide behind a wall. Like
Yeah, you have to like
from the
or you have
demo,
to
I'm just
hang.
like,
You have to hang from like a tower to get
I
your.
I figured that hanging from a sword up in the air takes more stamina than like. Like I was just like, okay, this is a little weird, but
This is
okay,
how you
I'll
it's how you get your health back. Like you would recover health by like leaving battle
by
essentially,
leaving
right?
battle. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Um.
it was
Yeah,
weird,
and then
but
going from 7 remake to 15 was so hard for me that I was like, this actually isn't very fun at all. So
7 remake, man, still the goat, still the goat.
yeah, I mean, I need to get a PS5 in time for Rebirth.
Unless we just submit to playing it on PC to then have to play it back
Like
on PS5.
2 years later.
Yeah, to get integrate, then to get go
Like
back and be like
we're not gonna see a PC version of Rebirth probably for like another 2 years, I would
that's
say.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
Dang. Anyways, that's gonna do it for us today. I swear, every time we say we're gonna keep it short, we always go. It's always like a perfect hour, but it's nice. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Remember to go ahead if you like this video, subscribe to the channel on YouTube, and then of course follow us on Twitter at UGP_cast. You can also check us out on our socials in terms of Twitch, where we stream throughout the week. I'm at Ninja Tricks, and my co-host is at Root24. That's the numerals 24. RUT
Yeah.
24.
Like don't type in letters at all after that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Route
you might get someone else. I've
I
never
don't
looked him
think
up before. I've never looked.
I
Could be
I'd be
there. It could be there.
I would be like kind of upset if there was someone with the same username, but yeah.
I mean, you never know. The internet is weird. It's vast.
Sure, yeah.
There we go. Anyways, yeah, we'll see you all next week for episode 141 of the Unknown Games podcast, where we get to talk about life.
Yeah, we should do some more Japan stuff recently. Have you eaten like McDonald's recently or what?
Oh, I did do the I did actually have the double cheeseburger, the spicy one.
The spicy double. You liked it?
I did. It was okay.
Yeah, I liked it.
It was
I had
like
it
you
too,
said.
actually.
It wasn't too spicy. Had a little sweet. I was surprised to see pickles on it though.
What's pickles on it?
I had pickles on mine. I had
Are you
pickles
sure
on top of
that
the.
should be jalapenos. It should
No,
be jalapenos.
I had jalapenos, and there was a pickle on the jalapeno. I should have taken a picture of that. It was. Weird.
I think someone messed up. Actually,
Someone put a pickle on my jalapeno. And the cheese had a little. You know, it was like that. I couldn't tell.
Was red, wasn't it? The cheese was red.
The cheese is actually red, and I couldn't tell if it's red because they actually just dyed it red, or if there was an actual.
Colored it.
Yeah,
no, I've never seen a cheese that's that red before.
The spicy cheese that wasn't really spicy, but it was red.
It was good.
It was flaming. So yeah, we should do some Japan talk soon.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll catch you all next week. Thanks for joining us. Take it easy, everyone.
Yep. All right. Peace.
Peace. Now watch the Hollow Knight. Now there's